Let's go take a look at how far we got in Excel. I'm going to start up Excel. Go to my previous here. Let's see, EX2, section 1. How far did you get? Let's see here. We got the core engineering. A lot of the data in here looking pretty good. And let's zoom out a little bit. We got all the way out to hire date. We haven't yet merged and centered our title, but let's get our totals here. Now, does total of emails make sense? Let's see what happens if we tried it. Totals, sigma, sum. Oh, it doesn't know what to sum together. What would happen if I gave a sum and nothing? Would I get an error, or would it just give me a 0? Let's find out. Oh, it doesn't like that. You can't put nothing in a sum. You have to have something in there. Well, does it make sense to have a sum of all the dependents? No, it might be interesting, but no, they don't want that. They would like the total of all hours worked, I believe. Let me go check the textbook here. Some of those totals don't make any sense, and there's one that doesn't make any sense at all. We are not going to total up the tax percent. So let me connect over to my textbook, bring this up. We're going to, it does make sense to total our hours worked, I believe. Gross pay, it sounds like that would make sense to total up our gross pay. But let's make sure I get it right here. We got all our numbers in there, and now the total across the bottom.
19,439.68.
Yes, we want the totals of hours worked. We don't need the total hourly pay rate because that doesn't make any sense. So hours worked, we can put sigma, hit the sigma there, it automatically sees the numbers nearby. I hit enter, we're good with that. Remember the D4 colon D12 shows as the little marching ants around that little bordered section, showing us that's what it's going to add together. Remember when you're here editing what it's summing, don't accidentally go click somewhere or you'll mess up what it's totaling, and it'll, see how it messes up that? I could total lots of things.
Wait, did you type it in or did you just highlight?
It was automatically there. But if you don't hit enter now and you actually go click somewhere else, look what it does. It messes up what's going to give you a sum of. So once it gives you a sum and says that's what I'm summing, hit enter before clicking anywhere else. That's the easy thing to really confuse you. It's like, wait a minute, I know it selected the right thing. You can click the check mark, or it's quicker just to hit the enter key. Now it gives you the totals of all their hours worked. Totals pay rate doesn't make any sense, so we're going to skip that. We do want the totals of gross pay, federal tax, and state tax, but not tax percent. Not tax percent. Because it doesn't make sense to add up percentages. Click sigma, and I get all the totals there. Don't panic if I see the hashtags. Double click, and it auto fits that column.
Could you show the control squiggly for this?
Control squiggle shows me this.
Thanks.
So it's basically summing up the numbers above all the way up to row 4.
Can you go back 1 second? Sorry. Yeah, I did something wrong.
Now, if you're not getting the same, you can always do it one at a time. Click there, sigma, enter.
That's sum total, right?
Yep, click there, sigma, enter. Or you can do them all 3 together. All 3 of them give me the sigma, enter. Now check your numbers. If you're not getting the same numbers as I have, it's probably could be a typo up here in any of these. Because remember, this was a multiplication. It's most likely errors over here if you're not seeing the same numbers. Because all our calculations are because of these numbers here.
Would it have to do with commas for any reason?
No, shouldn't have to do with commas. Although you can check. I'm going to go ahead and put all these in comma format, just to see if things are looking okay. I can put it in comma format, just so they line up. It's a little easier to check the numbers. Accountants love that format. I could put all these. I already had put all these in comma format, but just to make sure I could select them, click the comma. These, I'm going to increase the percent or the decimal points on these to make it a little more interesting. Increase the decimals to 2. But we're not going to put a total here. We're going to come back and show you what to do with this. Net pay, I do want a total for that. Click there and sigma and hit enter. And just for fun, I can actually do a sigma here and see what I get. I get a strange number, and I can say, well, what date would that be? And I can say, show me that as a date. And I get 10/14/1934, some strange number.
Wait, how is that a sum?
Why would it give? Well, shouldn't it give me an error on that sum? Why does it give me J13? Let's do sum again. Oh, it selected the wrong one. That's what I want the sum of. It will actually give me the sum of those dates. Because to Excel, dates are numbers. Even though it makes no sense. We really don't want a total here. But Excel will say, okay, if you want me to treat those dates as numbers, okay, I'll convert them to numbers and add them up, and then I'll convert them back to a date. But this makes no sense, so I'm going to delete that. But this is just a reminder that you could accidentally put a date in a calculation, and it'll throw off your calculation because Excel will think, all right, a date is represented by a number in memory by Excel. I'll treat it like a number and multiply or add. So dates are I think Julian date is a particular format. If I want to see what the numbers look like, I can come over here and put my dates in comma format, and there's the dates represented as numbers. Doesn't make sense. They're actually meant to be dates. Control Z that, put them back in date format. So we're going to see that the format of how I am displaying this data doesn't change the data. It just changes what it tries to interpret the data as. All right, now back to the percentage thing. We do not total up tax percent. If I did, I'd get a horrible number that made no sense. 279%. What is that? No, I don't want to do that. What I want to do is copy the formula, which was federal state added together divided by gross pay. Well, what we want to do is do federal state totals added together divided by gross pay. I could redo the formula, or I could just remember, oh yeah, that's the same formula I had here. Fill handle down that formula, and that is essentially giving me my average tax percent. So this is one number where it's really not the total tax percent. It's the tax percent of these other totals, total state and federal, divided by the total gross pay.
Is there a format we can put that in to show that this is an average of?
No.
Okay.
We could highlight it and put a little note. By the way, you can put little notes there. That's a little arrowy thingy guy, right? Or is it right click? I can right click, add a note to it. Where's my little note? Oh, and I can insert a comment on a cell if I want to add that comment. That's a cool little feature. You can always insert a comment and say, this is really just the percentage of the totals. It is not the total percents, because that does not make sense. And then when you have a little note attached, a little red corner color shows up. It's kind of neat to be able to do notes. Okay, so now we have the totals calculated in the right places. We're going to come back later and put total formats. Now, a little bit more, just to help you advance in your skills in Excel functions. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit on this one. Where do you want the highest of all the hours worked? Well, let's try that. I click here. There is not a function called highest, but if I come up under the little down arrow we got next to sigma, I see that there is a function called max. That's the same as highest. I click on highest, or I click on max, and it immediately wants to help me, thinking, oh, you must want the max of all these numbers. Well, no, I don't want 617.75 in there. So I could manually change the 13, backspace, and change, oops. Let me do that again. May I undo that? I click on there and backspace, change the 13 to a 12, because I only want the max across the workers' hours. And now I can get me the same min and max of all these others by copying this formula, Control C copy, and let's see, hourly pay rates. Yeah, I think min and max of that might be interesting, all the way up to net pay, and Control V, and I have the min and max of all those columns. I could have fill handled as well, but sometimes copy paste is a little more interesting or quicker sometimes. So now I have a min and max, and if I double click on one, I'll see it is not doing min and max of the total. There's the one place where it tried to help me. It did more numbers than I wanted to do the max of. Now I'll bet you can guess what the function is for the lowest. I'm going to type it in by hand just to show you. I could just type the name if I know it, min, and see as you type it shows you the possible functions available to you. That being one of them, min, left parenthesis, and it gives me a clue. Oh, I have to give the min of numbers. At this point, I can drag through what I want to get the min of, and then hit enter, D4 colon D12. Hit enter, it will put the ending parentheses in there, and I can fill handle that over all the way up to net pay. And I can see that, yeah, it's giving me the min of anybody's net pay. And I see 751.32. Well, that matches Ben. Ben is the one making the least amount of money here. Second place, Savannah.
That's tough, man.
They're being unfairly treated. Well, and since these are percentages, let's change those to percentages instead of numbers and give it 2 decimal points. They are, look at that. The highest person is paying a little higher in tax percent, just a tiny bit higher. This guy's making less than half of that, still almost paying 31%. So, remember how we did that? We use our max and min. Oh, we got an average one. Can you figure out how to do the average? Sure. You can either type it in or come up here. Oh, there's an average function. Click once. Correct what's supposed to be getting the average of by dragging through what I really want the average of. Hitting enter. And fill handling over. Now, there's also another way. Let's see if I can do it one other way, just for fun. What if I say, hey, I want the average. All of these guys are going to give me the average. Let's see what happens if I do average. Oh, it doesn't give me the chance to correct the formula. It wants to do it all the way out to there. So you have to do it one column, fix what it's doing the average of, and then either fill handle or copy paste it across. You do not want the totals or the other min and max to be included in your average, which it wants to do initially. So remember, if I ever want to do average, I'll click on it. It'll want to do the numbers that are nearby, and it will stop where there's a blank. But I can either manually type or drag through what I really want it to give me the average of. And then before clicking anywhere else, be sure to hit enter. So now we're getting, let's see, now do these represent dollars? Let's see here. Should they be in comma format? Average. Hours worked, well that's comma format, but not dollars. Some of these I could put in accounting format. I'll just leave it in comma format for now, till we come to where they might want us to pretty it up. I think we have the numbers in here. I don't think we're doing a chart on this one. We did the min and max and average. Oh, they would like highest lowest average of dependents. How would we do that? Highest lowest average of dependents? Quickest way is to say, well, I've got this is working. Let's just fill handle this to the left. And I have highest lowest of dependents. And they're in comma format, but we'll be adjusting our format later. So there, oh yeah, remember I see the dash means 0 is the lowest number of dependents. Dash means 0 in comma format.
I should put this in comma format.
No, we're gonna come back and adjust these. We probably don't need these in comma format, except the average does give us a decimal. What if I want to change these to not be comma format? Well, I can come up here and change it back to general. And then it goes back to no specific format. We are going to be doing some centering of these numbers, but let's go in the order of the textbook just so in case you're following through the textbook, so we're not jumping all over the place. Okay, so we did the totals. We checked any formulas. Okay, now, we're going to do the theme, and then we're going to do some other fancy schmancy stuff. let's go ahead and let's see. We are changing our theme before we do anything more. We're going to choose the theme called Gallery. Again, that will affect colors later on. So let's choose our theme. That would be over here under Page Layout. Here's the theme hiding in the upper left corner, and let's choose the theme Gallery. For Excel, the theme isn't so dramatic. It affects the colors and some formats of pages, but mostly we just care about number formats. Not as dramatic as in PowerPoint in the changing of the look. So we just changed, basically we're just changing our color table. Now let's do the merging and centering of our titles like we did before. Select through all the way over to column K, and then do the set it to be merged and centered. Here's our merge and center. And let's choose a title cell style for that new cell, merged and centers. Change it to a title cell, title style. And let's make it a nice big title. Let's increase that a little bit. Now let's do the salary report thing. Same thing. Select through, merge and center. And do they want salary report to be in a particular format? Yeah, they do title and then reduce the size a little bit. So cell style for that one now. Title. And maybe we'll reduce the font by just a little bit.
You could make a heading and give it a nice little bar there.
Okay, so now we're going down to the next one. We're going to change the background color behind our titles on both of them to be a little fancier. I select through those two cells now. And the background fill right up there, we're going to change to be indigo. That is this guy right here, I believe. Indigo lighter. So light indigo behind it, just a little fancier graphics effect.
Wait, which lighter?
Indigo at the very top one.
Okay.
Lighter 80%.
Whoa, wait. Sorry. Oh, it's for the
And we also would like to put a border around that. So let's put a border around that here. We're going to choose the bottom double border on that one. Bottom double border, just to get some practice at some borders. Actually, no, they wanted they want thick outside borders. I think, no, they want this one. Just outside borders. It was hard to read, it's so tiny in this textbook. Just outside borders. Now you can hardly see it, so it's like a worthless change. I don't even see a border at all. Maybe in the printout I might barely see one. You know what? I want a better looking border. Let's make a thick outside border, just so I can tell it's there. And I still don't see it. Oh, I accidentally chose that cell. Let me undo that. That's what was going on. I accidentally had moved. Let's do the border again. There we go. Now I can tell I've done something. There's the border showing up around there.
There's also a keyboard shortcut.
Yeah. And now the column headings, A3 to K3, we would like that to be heading 3 this time. Let's see what heading 3 looks like. Remember how we do that? Select it, cell style, heading 3. Decrease the font a little bit. And now we're going to display what date we want to see. Right now, we have our higher dates, K4 to K12. Right now, they're in long format. Let's select through those dates, and let's see how we can actually adjust what style of date that is. This is where you can click on the down side here and choose short or long dates, and then it gets really long, or open the dialog, and now in the date format, you have many more details that you can choose from. They would like to choose the 2-digit date type Yeah, that one right there. 2-digit date and year. And now click OK.
Mine preset to that.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, might have had that already. Yeah. And let's see. Are we doing anything else to that? So we're doing that date. And now for C4, column C4 all the way out to C5. We'll do all the way out to C16. We want that to be centered in the cell. Even though right aligned isn't all that bad, they would like to center that. I believe Control E would do it. Oh, no, Control E doesn't do it. Let's do this guy, centering. There is no Control E like there was in Word for centering those numbers. And it didn't like to center that one. That's weird. Huh. The average didn't like to center. But the others in general format were happy to center. Now, like they did in the other ones, we want a counting format in our totals row. So I'm going to go select through those and click the accounting format by just clicking on the $sign. And in the top row of our beginning of the table, but only in the ones that represent dollars. So we want it up through there, not the tax percent. We don't want to put that in counting format. Net pay, we do want a counting format. So, not hours worked, because that's not dollars. Pay up to state tax, counting, click on that one, also accounting.
Should we not go through like the rest of them?
Yeah. Well, you leave the rest in comma format so we don't have dollar signs everywhere. And then down in the totals, we're going to put that in totals format. So let's go ahead and click the totals row. And I'm going to go all the way up to K, even though my totals end at K. I want the format to follow across the entire width of my table. So put that into total style. Don't panic if you see that. Just double click on the border and it fits those numbers in. So totals widens it because it adds a little bold effect to it. Now they're going to show you a special thing here, E14 out to H16. E14 out to H16. We would like these to be in accounting format, but a special accounting format. Remember how we can do special formats up here underneath the dialog? Let's pop that dialog open. We're going to do some special accounting format to give you practice with the custom formats that you can do. We can do accounting format, but we can change it a little bit by changing it to currency style. And then choosing, and get this right here, we want the style with the $sign in front of it, so I can tell it, yes, give me the $sign symbol, and put it in parentheses if it's negative. Well, we won't see anything in parentheses because nothing's negative, but we can customize exactly what accounting or what currency format we have. And now watch what happens when I click OK. These all have a $sign, but see how it's a little bit different format than the currency format.
Interesting. You don't get that on Mac.
Really? So you can customize your format. The whole point of this is showing you that you can go down and customize into any of these categories, and the dialog that pops up gives you more fine control over exactly the formatting that you want. So if I had accounting, I don't get as many choices. If I had currency, I can say how many decimals,
Got it, sorry.
what symbol to put in front of it. It puts it right up against the number, but I have this, and many accountants like to put parentheses around numbers when they're negative. When I first saw it, I thought, what in the world does that mean? Because I'm used to seeing the negative sign. Accountants like parentheses if they're negative. And we're getting close then to the end here. Oh, we'd like to do the same thing to J14. for 14 through 16. So let's practice that again. Choose the dialog, currency, turn on the symbol $, and choose the third format. So the $, I don't like the look of that $, as much as the currency, but they want you to get some practice at custom formatting in the special dialog. And remember, I'm not changing the data, I'm just changing the display of the data to different formats.
Is it alright if I add light accents to highest, lowest, and average to make them easier to distinguish?
Accents?
Yes.
You mean like bold, you mean, or something?
Accent shading.
Oh, shading. Yeah, you can do some shading if you like. Now, we have already done the percentage thing. I did that way at the start. Remember how this represents just a fraction, but if I want to see a fraction, often you want to look at fractions as a percentage, like if you're looking at your grade or something. 30% is 30 out of 100. Turning on percentage, and then you can adjust how many decimals you see in that percentage. Let's fix this one right here. For some reason, I accidentally got that turned into currency format. Let's turn that one back to percent format and 2 decimal. I accidentally applied a counting format to that. Now, here comes an important concept. It's going to be a little hard at first. We're going to practice it a few times. We're going to do a thing. It's called conditional formatting. What we want to do is we want to automatically highlight anyone that has worked more than 70 hours. We want to give them a special reward or remind them, you better pay attention to your family, maybe give them a bonus, maybe say, wait a minute, don't get too close to that 80 hours because then we got to pay big government fines or taxes. Here's how we do this. I select the numbers that I want to apply conditional formatting to. So first thing we do, select the numbers. We're going to apply conditional formatting, and then we come up here to the conditional formatting button. And now we're going to go right down to new rule. We're going to learn how to make our own rules. There's lots of other rules built in, but we want you to know how to make a new rule on your own. So click new rule. And now the little formatting rule pops up. We're going to select the second line in here, format only cells that contain something. It gives us the most control over the formatting of these cells. And now we can do a little rule here. The cell value, we're going to change this to greater than 70. So what this is saying is, I'm going to apply special formatting to cells that contain a number greater than 70. Now, I haven't applied any format yet, so now I have to apply a format to those special cells. If I'd stopped here, I'd have a rule that did nothing. It applied the no special format to those. We want to apply a special format to those by changing, so now we click the format button, which will apply to anything that is greater than 70. So I click the format button, and I change the color to be a color of a bluish, right here, a purplish actually. We're going to choose a purplish color, not the font though, not the font. Actually, I guess they are changing they're changing the font to be white. Sorry, the font is going to be white. And we're going to change the fill to be purplish. So font will be white, making it very confusing. I see nothing here. But now we change the fill to be the purpley fill right up at the top of the third column. That guy right up there, way at the top. The purpley, whatever color that is.
I think it's way different.
Now if I click OK, let's see what happens. I click OK, and now I'll see that anything in that will have a purple background and a white font. I can always come back here and adjust it if I don't like it. There's my fill. There's my font. I can even apply other things to it like a border, but I'm only worried about a light font on a dark background. OK gives me a sample, and until I click OK, it doesn't actually apply the conditional formatting. So I'm going to cancel. I'm going to start this all over again, just so you see how it's done. Select through the cells I want to apply conditional formatting to. Click Conditional Formatting, New Rule, Format Cells that contain, cell value greater than, in this case, 70. I could type in 70. I could actually point to a cell. And then I choose the format. The font is going to be white. The fill will be Mr. Purple. It doesn't hover over, it doesn't tell me what the color is. Click OK, and it shows me the sample. Now when I click my last OK, it automatically highlights anyone who's worked greater than 70 hours. Now suppose it didn't work just right, and I wanted to fix this. I can go back to Conditional Formattings, and I can manage my rules. I can manage the rules, and I see, oh, there's the rule I made. I can edit that rule. I can select it and edit it in case I messed up. I can even remove the rule if I want. So this is a very powerful way to highlight numbers conditionally in a special way. Like, we can automatically make negative numbers appear red. That's kind of like a built-in thing. But other times, it may be important that, hey, certain things in my spreadsheet I need to highlight, like inventory that is almost down to zero, or something that its cost is, or its profit is very small. And maybe we should think about, increasing the price or dropping that product because it's, something interesting about it that we want others to see. So conditional formatting, a very powerful way to really get Excel to even do more work than just number calculation. But think about it as actually helping you understand the data that you have in Excel. And that's conditional formatting. Now I think we're just getting our columns to fit nicely all the way across. I'm going to do the lazy way. I'm just going to click in the upper left corner and double click on any cell border, and it will auto fit everything. So just click the upper left, double click on any cell border, auto fits. You don't have to go one cell at a time to auto fit. Sometimes we want some rows to have a little more room around them. Like those totals down there, we'd like to give a little more room between them and the row above. Or even this one, maybe have a little space between the title and my heading. I just grab that border in the gray and slide her down. I see the height showing up in two formats. One is in points, one's in pixels. And I can slide that down, give a little space there. Here as well, I could just grab the border edge and slide that one down a little bit. And I have my totals a little bit separated from the table above. Some people, you'll see, they like to put blank rows in there. That's another way to give a little separation. But you can always just adjust the height of a cell. And I think the last thing we're doing here is doing a spell check. Remember, I wasn't doing a spell check while we were typing in data. Now is the time, before we send it to the boss, so we don't look like an idiot, let's do a little review. Now do the spell check. Now, of course, it's going to be having problems with everybody's names, but we have to work through that. Yeah, we're going to ignore all those. That's the correct name. We're going to ignore all of those. And that's the only thing he didn't like. All the other names it was happy with. And yes, I'm going to go to the top just to make sure I haven't missed anything. Yep, I'm going to ignore, cool. Nope, that's the right spelling. I'm going to ignore all. I'm going to ignore all. Now it's having trouble with the other names. Yep, it was only names it was having issues with. I told it ignore all those names. Now I can't assume I have all the spelling exactly correct. Remember, because spelling, if there's a word in the dictionary, but I still have the wrong word, it won't catch that. But it will catch the blatant spelling errors. Now I can do a Control S to save it, and it is ready to upload. Control S save. Ready to upload to Schoology. And I'm going to stop the recording here. I think that's it for Excel 2. I'm just checking to see. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just review that conditional formatting one more time by removing the rules and re-adding them. So I'm going to select through them. So I'm pretend like I really messed up on the rule. I'm going to go fix it. I'm going to go to Home Page, Conditional Formatting. I'm going to manage the rules. Or, you know what? I'm just going to clear them and redo them all. Clear rules from selected cells. Now I'm going to come and redo that just for practice. Select through the cells, step 1. Step 2, choose conditional formatting. We're going to do a new rule. Cells that contain cell value is, in this case, greater than 70. You might have something like select cells that are negative to be a red background. So that would be cell value less than 0. In this case, I'm redoing the greater than 70, formatting, fill of the purpley, font of white, okay, sample good, okay. That easy to do conditional formatting. It's easy to forget that because it's not well known by a lot of Excel people, but it will be on the final. Now, save that again. So remember, you can always go conditional formatting, manage rules, clear them, edit them, and then start over. And I think we're done with Excel 2. So Control S, save it, and it's ready to upload to Schoology. Give you a little time to do that while I end this recording.